We limit ourselves, and it's only us. There's nobody else that's doing it to you. You've chosen to adopt those beliefs. And once you push yourself outside of that comfort zone, what becomes possible is absolutely miraculous.
Thoughts become things. So the one glaring question for all of us always is, on a daily basis, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
As you think, so shall you be. 7 little words that I think are perhaps the most important things that we can learn and master in our lives. This old proverb notion that I become what I think about all day long. And once you know that what you think about is what expands, you start getting real careful about what you think about. You don't allow your thoughts to be on anything that you don't want, or that you wouldn't want to have manifest or show up for you in your life.
So whatever you wish to do, you must bring yourself to a moment of joy and clarity within yourself. At that moment, what you decide, even if you die, you must go by that. Whenever your emotions go up and down, your mind says many things. That's not important. In a moment of clarity, when I'm saying joy, because when you're happy, you're not compulsive. When you're very happy and clear, at that time, if you look at things and see that, yes, this is what is more sensible for me, just do that. It doesn't matter if it feels like hell, because that's where your well-being is. When you're in different states of compulsiveness, if you make decisions as to which way to turn, you will be endlessly lost.
And one of the things that you've got to do is you've got to watch your inner conversation and discipline your thinking and your imagination, because if you don't, your mind will take you on a wild trip, talking to you, telling you what you can't do. Part of what you've got to do is be your own motivator. You've got to talk to yourself, and you build yourself up, and you'll feel your energy level coming up, and people will feel that around you. See, now, if you go through life being afraid, people can sense that. They can pick up that fear.
Confidence is knowing that you have your own back. Confidence is knowing that you can face something. Confidence is believing in your ability to face or survive or try something and be better. And confidence is being willing to try.
Believe you can. Tell yourself you're the person you want to be. And even though from an outside perspective you ain't, just believe it. This will fill you with confidence, and you'll start carrying yourself differently. You'll start looking at the world differently. You'll start talking differently, walking differently, because you ain't no longer the person you are. You're the person you've always wanted to be.
Identity and values drive behavior. So if you want to make a change, you have to change your vision of who you are. You have to begin telling yourself a different narrative. And the narrative you tell yourself about yourself is everything. And if you tell yourself that you're a scared, undereducated kid from Tacoma whose family has never accomplished anything, let me tell you what you will become. A scared, undereducated kid from Tacoma who never accomplishes anything, because that's what you believe. You tell yourself that story enough, and it will become real. But on the flip side, you could tell yourself a story of, you're a learner. You learn faster than most people. You're willing to put in more work than most people. You're willing to read more books than most people. You're willing to spend an inhuman amount of time every day improving your mind simply by getting new ideas into the system. And that you will admit that you're wrong faster than anybody else, that you won't let your ego get in the way. And you tell yourself that story over and over and over. So when somebody comes and tells you how stupid you are, that you're just a dumb kid from Tacoma, you go, you're right, that's amazing. Thank you for pointing out that flaw, because now that I'm aware of it, I can improve it, because I'm the learner. And once I switched my narrative to being the learner, it didn't matter where I started, it only mattered where I was trying to go. And as long as I had that clarity, then I could execute, because I believed I could do anything I set my mind to without limitation.
Guess what you can say? I'm on a new track. I have carved out for myself a new beginning. I'm on my way to the most incredible health. I will never be the same again. I'm leaving the old, undisciplined part of me. I'm leaving that behind. I'm a new person. I'm taking my first shake. I'm swallowing the first tablets. I made my first walk around the block that I'd thought about for so long and never did. I finally did it today. I've started. I have begun. That is an incredible source of inspiration. And that is to start, to begin. You cannot believe what can happen to your self-esteem. And many of you have already experienced it. I'm just asking you to begin something new in all the areas of your life. Maybe you've always thought about benevolence and you just haven't gotten started, or you haven't made the plans, or you haven't made the decision. I'm asking you to start taking that stuff now that's in your head, that imagination, which is very powerful, and it's a great source of inspiration in itself. But then I'm asking you then to decide, use that inspiration. Then I'm asking you to make plans, begin to make plans, use that inspiration. And then if you take that first step, it can be the first step of an incredible journey.
It's you. You've got to take personal responsibility. You've got to make it your personal business to make it happen. And you've got to resolve within yourself that I can do this.
When we were growing up, we had teachers, our parents, and other guardians looking out for us. As we learned about the world, we learned what actions were inappropriate, like knocking over our sister's block tower or throwing food, and which were appropriate, like sharing with others or talking in an inside-level voice. Our initial reactions and habits were corrected by the people around us. Now you have to take control and correct yourself. When you developed bad habits as a child, they were corrected and set on a new course. Now, as an adult, you can set your current habits on a new course. You'll have to take the responsibility to recognize the person you are right now and the person you want to become. When we have fallen into negative self-talk, the only way for us to notice and correct it is to be responsible for ourselves. Fixed mindset V's, growth mindset. A fixed mindset means that you believe that who you are today is basically who you have always been and who you will always be. When someone has a growth mindset, they acknowledge that they are constantly changing. So someone with a fixed mindset would have self-talk that sounds something like, I can't run this 5K because I am not a runner. A person with a growth mindset would say, I can run this 5K because I can train. Another example would be, I can't learn French because I'm bad with languages. As a fixed mindset, the growth mindset would be, if I put in the effort, I have the capability to learn French, even if it is a skill I find difficult. Do you see the differences? As you start to change your self-talk, you will need to have the attitude that you possess the capability to change it. From here forward, you can operate with a mindset of, I can adapt my thoughts into new patterns, even if it is difficult, instead of, changing my thoughts is too hard. This is just how I think and how I am, and how I will always be, starting small, habit building. Changing your thoughts will be difficult. Up until now, you've probably not considered your self-talk patterns. So being able to be aware of them and eventually change them will be a slow-moving process. But you should not give up if it feels hard at first. Like building any habit, the original patterns feel quite rigid and stuck. It's like eating fast food every night for dinner and trying to go straight to chicken and vegetables. Changing all at once won't last and won't be pleasant. But if you slowly start to change your habits just one day a week or one food choice at a time, it is easier, so you will need to break up changing your self-talk into bite-sized habits. A helpful metaphor when we think about changing our thought patterns is imagining that your brain is a forest and the thought patterns you have are paths you've created over the years. It is easy to walk these paths. The trees are cleared, there are no branches in your way, and it is easy to see each step in front of you. As you try to form a new thought pattern, it is like going off the beaten path and trying to forge a new way. You have to hack at the branches and trees, and progress will be slow instead of being able to race down the path you already have established. You also don't know the way forward. Which way should you make the path? But once you clear that new path and walk it over and over, it will become as simple and ingrained as the first one. It's also just like training your muscles. At first, you can't lift very heavy weights, but as you practice with those weights, then you can move on to heavier and heavier ones, and now your muscles are more defined, and you are stronger. Your brain is a muscle, and at first you need to start with light weights. Be patient with yourself and recognize where you are when you begin. Easily influenced, you have to believe that you can change. And you can change. Our brains and inner chatter, while they can be hardwired over years and years of repetitive modes of thinking, are also easily influenced. Have you ever been in the middle of a good book, and after getting lost in the chapters for a few days, you start to think in the pattern of the writing style of the book? Or if you've spent too much of your day on Facebook, you start thinking about life in Facebook statuses. Or if you spent all day looking at spreadsheets, then you have dreams about spreadsheets. The outside world can heavily influence our inner chatter and thought patterns. All you need to do is make an active effort to contribute to that influence. Your self-talk is yours alone. One of the best things about changing your inner self-talk is that it gets to be your secret. No one needs to know but you about the tactics you use for self-talk, as most of them will be hidden inside your brain. You get to choose how you talk to yourself. You are the boss here. If you are religious and feel most comfortable with religious thoughts that calm you, then go for that. If you enjoy getting woo-woo about the universe or Mother Nature, do that. It's whatever you want. You have my permission to be as silly or as serious as you want. We have outlined basic strategies to help you find general principles for talking to yourself, but there are a lot of blanks left open based on your particular situation. We'll guide you on how to fill them in, but you get to decide the what. Exercise. Helpful habit building reminders, rerouting your thoughts will be a slow process, just like building any habit. At first, it may be hard to remember to step outside of your thoughts and assess them. For this exercise, either use post-it notes or set up reminders on your phone to help you check in with yourself on a daily basis. You can put the post-it notes somewhere around your house where you are likely to see them, like your bathroom mirror, your computer monitor, the visor of your car, wherever you will see the reminder each day. Or set up reminders on your phone to ping you several times per day to practice your new positive self-talk habit.